Determine if the following are functions, and if so, find the domain and range. Part A. We're getting some ordered pairs there this time. So let's go by Drew's definition, because that's going to work great for us. Does every x go to 1y in part A? Yeah. So because of that, we have ourselves a function. So the domain would be the list of all of your x coordinates, your x values. What is that? What are those numbers, I should say? Does the order in which I write them matter? Nope. Very good. Now please be careful. A lot of people will read that and say, well, the smallest number is 3 and the biggest number is 10, so can I write it like this? Can you write it like that? Why? Yeah, so this says all numbers between 3 and 10, including 3 or 10. Well, 4.967328 is in there. Do we want to include 4.96728? No. So do not write it like this. If you're only listing numbers, please use braces. And how about our range? What are the possible y values? Not at all. Nope, they don't have to. Works for me. So this is just like we were listing sets and subsets in chapter 7, was that? Or it does not matter the order in which you write them. B. Looking at the graph, if you were to pick any x value, does it only lead to one y value? Yeah. So this would be a function. Now there is a formal way of determining if a graph is that of a function, which we'll write down after we do the examples. But looking at the graph, the domain is going to be the x values, in this case, how far left to how far right the graph goes. Well, due to this arrowhead right here, how far left does that graph go? Negative infinity. Even though it's pointing up, it's also going left, just not as fast as it's going up. So as that arrow goes on forever, it's going to keep traveling left. How far left? Negative infinity. Again, use parentheses for your infinities. How far right is the graph going? Positive infinity. So this arrowhead, even though it's pointing up, it's also edging to the right. It's going to go right forever. Positive infinity. And what symbol do I put? Parenthesis. How is everyone with their infinity symbols? If you need to, turn your paper, draw an 8, turn your paper back. All right. Range is bottom to top. You always write your intervals in smallest to biggest. So for range, bottom to top. How far down does the graph go along the y-axis? -3. Do we include the -3? With what symbol? Good. Comma, how far up along the y-axis does the graph go? Infinity with a parenthesis. Part C. Does every x value go to one and only one y value? Nope. For instance, if we picked x to be 2, it corresponds to 2 different y values. That's bad. So because of this, this is not a function. No. You take it as is. So you're not going to do any manipulation to it to make it a function all of a sudden. Yeah. The x's and y's, correct. Right. But by definition, you just... correct. Right, unless otherwise stated, yeah.
Okay.
All right, if we were to connect those two lines, those 2 points, what type of line would be created? A vertical line. So notice, if you have a vertical line that hits a graph more than once, is it going to be a function? No, and that is your vertical line test.
For the
Sure.
for B, the same would be true because for every y, there's 2 x's, there's 2 x values.
True, that's okay.
Okay.
2 different x's can go to the same y, but 1 x can't go to 2 different y's.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now that, where there's 2 y's for 1 x, that's a different property.
Okay.
So it's going to turn out to be bad later on. But for right now, it's okay.